Okay, I'm feeling, Anna,
Yeah.
that feels really disrespectful the way that you phrased it, but I didn't mean it like that. There was just a lot of conversation.
No, you wanted it on
And
the
there was so
record,
much
and now it
conversation.
is.
It was just more appropriate to be on the record. I mean, I think
Now it is.
perfect.
Yep. Okay, so
Gracious. All
here
right.
I am looking at this same email.
When you go into your calendar invite, you have two. You have two invites, one that's been accepted already on them, and one
There we
that's just
go.
kind of sitting there to be accepted.
Thanks,
And
Christine.
the one that's to be accepted has the attachments on it.
Thanks, Christine, for sending this. Okay, so is it the will of this committee that we take several minutes to briefly review the draft of agenda item 3?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Just a couple minutes,
Deborah,
please.
please go ahead.
What's up, Deb?
It's a good, well, I'm struggling to say what I need to say. It's definitely a good idea that we all read it. It's a long report. There is a lot of data in it. It will take more than a few minutes to digest, or even several minutes, in my opinion. I read it. It took me a full half hour, and I'm a fast reader. But it took me a full half hour, and that's without taking any notes, just reading it and digesting what Jenny said. So I question whether we can have a meaningful discussion if we have not all prepared to discuss it.
Well, Jenny, you're the author. What do you think?
Well, I think that the purpose of people reviewing the report is so that you can provide me with meaningful input so that we can put the best product out there. And each of you comes to the table with different perspectives and backgrounds and so forth. And so I look forward to hearing what people have to say, and I'll feel cheated if we only spend a couple minutes. Anna, I know that you gave me some feedback earlier. I did try to incorporate your comments into this report, but I do think that
I see you, Jennifer.
that it won't, the purpose of you guys reviewing it won't be accomplished if you only spend a few minutes looking at it.
Okay. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead.
So then, in light of what Deborah said, and then our auditor here, Jenny, I just wonder if maybe would it be okay if we asked Jenny for a brief highlight of some things that are important, that are of note, a brief presentation, and then perhaps we can defer this to the next meeting? Would that be okay?
It's certainly something that we could do, but Jenny, from what you just said, I understood you to say that you want us all to have actually really read the document before you make your presentation. Is that correct?
I mean, that would be ideal. If you want me to walk you through it, I can do that, but I think it's my preference that everyone has at least read it and has some questions and comments in mind, rather than me basically reading the report. It's up to you. However you would like to proceed, I'll do it.
I'm willing to defer. I'm just going to poll the remaining members. Vice Chair McDaniel?
I vote to defer, please.
Okay. Community Member Marwan?
Defer to next month.
I should have said Community Member Cameron, sorry. Councilor Chamberlain?
Yeah, let's defer.
Okay. Shoot, I forget your full title, Rosalind. Valued CPA Medina?
Yeah, I think deferring makes sense. I mean, I've made it halfway through, but there's a lot of information to digest here.
Okay. Jenny, are there any parts of this that we should pay particular attention to? It's, or just, read it and come back next month.
Well, or next week, if people want to do that rather than holding the report up, but it doesn't matter to me. I do think that a lot of it is a fast read. Some of it is a slower read. So, but a lot of it's kind of just telling the story.
I like that in your writing. Okay, I'm also quite happy to have a special meeting in a week or two
will
How's
be-
everybody's next Monday?
I'm not available and Christine's on leave. Yeah. Can we not defer it to our next meeting? Is there an urgency to this?
Okay, so the two of you would not be able to attend next Monday. Would anybody else be able to attend?
I think I would be able to.
Okay,
Probably could, but I would really prefer that we have as many people. I mean, Christine's a linchpin for us.
okay,
And anyway, yeah,
Right. Okay. Yeah, Marwan, please go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna agree with that, and I'm not available Monday as well.
Okay, so we will do this next month. And Jenny, can we send you questions and, like clarifying questions between now and next month?
I think that's okay. Do not send them to the whole group, but you can certainly send your questions or call me or whatever you would like to do.
Okay, well, dag nabbit. I had really been looking forward to this. Okay, well, I think dag nabbit is about as
Yeah.
strong language as I want to use right here. All right.
I'll say what you don't want to say. I've said worse in a public meeting.
Okay,
don't be shy,
So-
Jennifer.
let's move on to item 4.
Fair enough.
And please enter it into the minutes that that item 3 will begin again at our September meeting, at our October meeting. My goodness. Okay. Ready? Agenda item number 4. Other audit support staff Christine Grenier will provide a brief update on the resident position recruitment. Please go ahead, Christine.
Okay, just before 5 p.m., the announcement went live. So the notice went out to our public distribution, and it is posted on the city website. So applications for the resident position are open until October 17th. So any applicants could theoretically be interviewed at our next meeting.
And I understand we already have one application submitted.
Correct. I'm not going to talk about it on the record, but
I'm just
They're open.
understand we have one. So great.
That's all
Thank
I
you
have.
very much. It's live on the website. Is that the outreach that we do? Is just put it on the website?
So there's a meeting, there's a notice that goes out. It's our council's distribution. It's a wide distribution. So that goes out as well.
Okay, sorry for misunderstanding. Okay, thank
And
you.
Anna, FYI, I also post that on the conduit. So
Thank you.
Great. The more public notice, the better. Okay, so for item 4B, I'm going to open a discussion on a proposed scope for the next project, the Watershed Forestry Profitability Review. You want me to read this into the record? Or does everyone have it in front of them?
I read it on the agenda. I mean, go ahead, Jenny.
Okay. Okay. The goal is to determine the net profit to the Bremerton Water Utility from timber harvesting revenues in the watershed forest only, also known as the Union River Watershed Forest. That is all timber harvesting within the Casad Dam Reservoir watershed and within the watershed of all open water, both the upstream and downstream of this reservoir, that is owned by or managed by City of Bremerton. Is that goal clear to everybody? Okay.
Yeah, that was very concise. I love it.
Thank you. I worked on it for quite a while to shorten it up. So the
Both up and downstream. Very important. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Jennifer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the method is to review the past 5 years, 2020 through 2024, inclusive of relevant factors below, to get an average gross and net revenue over recent historical time. Okay.
Past 5 years.
Moving on to relevant factors, which is the third and last part. So applicable portions of the following costs: the city forester salary and benefits, which I just learned is called loaded labor rates. So I threw that in there so I would look smart. Assistant forester and forest intern loaded labor rates. There's either one or two interns, depending. Costs and fees for permitting, inspection, other regulatory compliance. Cost to remove noxious weeds that result from removal of deep forest shade by clear cutting, largely Scots broom and Himalayan blackberry. Cost to repair roads after logging trucks pass over them, where not covered by contract. Cost to manage and transport slash, residue, wastes, where not covered by contract. Cost to replant, monitor, and maintain replanted areas where not covered by contract. Cost to oversee contract and work with contractors for Lusignan Forestry, who broker timber sales for City of Bremerton. That's it. Anybody have any suggestions, changes?
I do have a suggestion. So what I would love to see as an addendum to this is some research showing, you know, council or the public or whomever, that noxious weeds do not grow in healthy forests that aren't harvested. So if there's some data we can correlate to that, that would be wonderful.
I'm going to refer you to the Department of Ecology, to the Department of Natural Resources, and also to the adjectival clause. Not all noxious weed, but noxious weeds that result from removal of deep forest shade by clear cutting. It's
Great.
not talking about every noxious weed in the world.
I'm just asking for it to be included in this in our request, like when we get a packet, that those footnotes be included.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yes, I hear your request. Anything else?
I'm looking at this as just kind of a list of things that you don't want me to overlook. Is that right? But rather than explicit instructions of how you want me to do my analysis?
This is just, you know, from being on council and from watching council for years before that, these are regular costs that come up in contracts. So, and these are factors that back in 2018, I believe, Cami Apfelbeck, the head of the water utility, who was then head of water and forest, these are all factors that she included in their determination of net profitability.
So there's a report for you to go back to.
If you can hang on just one second, Jennifer, I'll get to you as soon as Jenny has finished. Did that make sense, Jenny?
Somewhat. I mean, I'm just assuming that my hands aren't tied to what you've listed here, that I'm being asked to do my analysis. And I would like clarification, actually. The bigger question is, am I to assume that you don't want any logging occurring in the watershed? Or are you, I mean, what's the assumption on that? Or do you want me to look at it a couple different ways? Like there's limited logging, just no old growth? Because
I don't think the committee, I'm sorry, Jenny. Please
go ahead.
I don't think that the committee chose this one. It was not me. It's not what I want. I'm not saying there's an answer you should come up with. It's just, here's how we've been doing it for quite a few years. We clear cut about 25 acres within this watershed forest. And what is the net profitability of that? Yeah, I see you, Jennifer. right? That's what we talked about last month. And so here, what I was trying to do was write down what I know from various conversations, like where our forester, Sean Walsh, acknowledged during a council meeting that Scott's broom and Himalayan blackberry are only to be found outside of deep forest. And these are just all of the elements that I know of that might influence, that might have an effect upon net profitability. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
May I?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Can you just can you come in on the next round? Okay.
What are we doing here? I'm not able to offer feedback to assist in this conversation. Is that what's happening? Jenny, basically, I don't think anybody's coming in with a bias. I think these are examples. This is just honest proposal here. But yeah, we did want to look at the net profitability of the watershed timber harvesting, and we shouldn't have a bias with it, right? We need to come into this like with open eyes. There might be a net profit, and there might not be as much damage caused by logging trucks, et cetera. But maybe it's worth it to have whatever damage is caused by the logging trucks. We don't know. But what I'm curious about is, Anna, you mentioned something that Cami Affelbeck talked about net profitability, and she used specific metrics. And so I'm wondering about that. Maybe you can refer back to that, Jenny, that Anna was talking about a specific time when Cami Affelbeck talked about net profitability in the timber.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I would like to make sure that at this meeting that everybody gets a chance to speak. I understand that your expertise, that you have been on the finance committee multiple times, and I appreciate that expertise, I do. But I also would like to make sure that everybody gets to speak, okay? Just hang on for 1 second.
I just heard somebody say, go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah,
and so
just hang on there, Jennifer. So Jenny, did that make that clear to you?
I'm going to go ahead and leave. I don't think I can be part of this. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
have a good day.
I'm asking you to observe the same courtesy that we have at every city council meeting, Counselor.
Oh, okay.
Where
all right.
People make comments and we go around once.
It's just a consistent theme, Anna. The way that you talk to me at these meetings is, I don't like it, and I don't want to be part of it today. I've had a long day, and I appreciate the rest of the community members coming. I apologize for leaving. I think it's the best for this meeting today. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay, Jenny, so did that clarify it to you?
Have a good day. Yeah.
Anna. Oh, thank you. I don't see a hand. There we go. I'll wait for my turn.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I think Deb was next.
Deborah.
Yeah, hi. Jenny, can I phrase what I think you were asking about? Can I speak for you for just a second? I think what Jenny wants to know is this list exclusively what she should look at, or is it this plus anything else she comes across? And there was a question about assumptions, and I would agree with what Jennifer said, that we should go into this without any assumptions, and let the data tell the story. And that the list is the data around clear cutting. I mean, I have my own opinion, but let's look at what's happened and is it profitable, right? Because that's the goal. I'm reading your face here, Anna. So I think that list is including but not exclusive, right? Is that a fair way to put it, Anna?
It's my best attempt to combine the things we talked about last month and the ecological knowledge that has been given to council in public meetings.
Right, but you don't want her to just look at those items.
Yeah,
that's what I mean by it's not exclusive. That's
Well,
what I mean.
I mean, isn't there an issue also that if you don't log any of the forest, you still have some of the expenses that you're talking about. And I thought that that was kind of the meat of what we were looking at. Is not just what the profitability of the forestry operations has been historically, but if you were to decide not to log anymore, or to change your logging practices by reducing the amount of logging, or, you know, that was what my question was.
Okay.
You know, how many of those expenses are you still going to have?
Yeah.
In my lingo, those would be called your continuing expenses. So if you shut down the operations completely and you're just going to let the forest manage itself, and you don't need a forester, and you don't need the assistant, and you don't need pesticides or fertilizers or security, you know, whatever those expenses are, or is it that you will still have some operation going on that would require some of the current expenses, but certainly not at the same level? And so that's kind of what I was asking is, do you want me looking at it with the assumption? I mean, maybe you don't even want me looking at that, but I don't know what usefulness the report is if it's just what the historical profits are. I mean, I can give you the revenue and expenditures right now without analyzing the expenditures, but I can give them to you from the Finance Plus system, our accounting system, and just tell you what that is. So, but I thought that you wanted to know if we discontinued the logging operation, you know, how does that change the profitability or lack of?
I'm trying not to talk so much. Deborah, had you finished?
Yeah. And
So
she brings
here,
up good points.
last month, there was a specific reference made to just for like confining the scope to just looking at an historical period, right? That was a specific thing that came up last month. So that's why I put that in there. The city forester has said that over 90% of his job is managing the timber harvesting. So what is the actual profitability? If this committee thinks that what can be gained from the finance department, if all of these can be answered in a week or two, then that's a whole different thing. I'm not trying to pursue any agenda here. I mean, I am in other contexts, but not here. It's just like,
But is it relevant that if you discontinued logging, you would no longer have the revenue and some of the expenses would go away? Do
yeah,
you want to know? I mean, I would think that you would want to know how much
Yeah.
of those expenses go away. So
I personally would, and if the rest of the committee agrees, that'd be great.
well, I thought that was the purpose of the,
Yeah. Did I set it up wrong to when it doesn't read like that?
again, I was just asking for clarification. You know, I'm not talking about whether anyone has an agenda or anything. I just want direction. And I want to know, I can look at it that we reduce the amount that we harvest each year by 50% and 100%. You know, I can look at it different ways. And maybe that's the answer is that, yes, can you look at it both ways? But, you know, maybe the answer is that, no, I just want to know what happens if we shut down the logging operations completely, and that we're just doing what we need to do to maintain the forest, the watershed.
Okay, I think that's a great question for the committee. Deborah, your hand is still up. Did you?
Oh, sorry. That was my mistake. Thank you.
Rosalind, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to weigh I'm trying to listen to everything and ascertain what it is that we're really trying to accomplish. Sometimes the data tells its own story. So I appreciate the idea of the historical context as maybe helping us identify some next steps around what it is that we really want to know. Knowing where we came from can help us understand where we want to go in the future. You know, if it seems significantly economical, then perhaps it doesn't really matter whether we want to get rid of the forest or cut it by 50% or anything like that, because it's just such a significant revenue source that there's just no way that we would ever have a chance to move away from something like that. Or maybe you see right away that there's just no benefit profitability wise. And then there's the ecological conversation that needs to happen that really isn't necessarily an audit committee function, right? And so I guess my mind goes to why wouldn't you want to just see what you have, get a handle on that, converse about what that looks like, and then use that as a guide to see what the next few steps should be, with one of them being possibly, let's take a look at if we cut it back or cut it away altogether. Before you get all the way down that big long path, maybe there's some stepping stones before you get there. Not to go
Okay.
too naturey in my summary.
That's,
Well,
that's a
here,
great
and
summary.
Marwan, I will get to you in just a second. Here, what I think I was trying to do, because you guys all know I don't speak audit very fluently, is to make sure that these other expenses were included in a cost benefit accounting, like the
But
noxious
just don't
weed.
overlook them as your intention.
Yeah, was just to make sure that they were in there. So that it wasn't like one of those things where you have a bunch of lemons, you have a bunch of sugar, you open a lemonade stand, you make 25 cents, but all of your supplies were free type thing. I don't know what that's called.
Capitalism.
Probably. Okay. Yeah, Marwan, please go ahead. Marwan, can you
Can't
shout
hear
a
you.
bit, please? Okay. Progress is good. Yeah. Deborah, please go ahead.
Yeah, at the risk of muddying the waters, was there anything mentioned in there about the potential increase to the cost of water treatment should we lose the environmental benefits we have by having a forest in our watershed?
I did not put those in here because the committee wanted an historical record.
Got it. Okay, good.
And so
Because
this isn't,
that is a future cost that at some point we want to talk about. But okay, got it.
yeah, that's
Got
an item that's in the draft utility lands management plan about increasing. So here I just, it's the
Perfect.
committee wanted a kind of small self-contained, that's why I put in 5-year because that's pretty normal. So yeah. Thank you, Rosalind and Jenny. You seem to both be speaking very fluent CPA. Thank you. It's an education to listen to, yeah. Does everyone feel clear on this one? Okay, Marwan, Jenny?
I think so. Do you want a list of the expenditures that are reported in Finance Plus and the revenue?
Is the cost to remove noxious weeds, for example, in the database?
I can double check and see if those specific items that you've listed, most likely they are in there, but I can double check.
Okay. And then I'm assuming that you guys being really good at this, like obviously the city forester does not spend 100% of his time, actually like everybody else, he spends time filling out paperwork and going to training and, so I don't know how one determines how much of a person's loaded labor rate is directly on this, but I do recall that we've been told that about 90% of the city forester's work is to do with what he calls harvesting.
Well, and that's where it gets confusing, Anna. What you're looking for, because he's charged to the forestry department.
Not the water utility?
Well, the forestry is included in the water utility, but there is a separate accounting for forestry.
Oh, interesting.
But revenue doesn't go to forestry, it goes to the water utility, isn't that correct?
Well, again, there is a separate accounting for it. You know, I have pulled the from Finance Plus, which is our accounting system. I pulled the revenue report for forestry, so it has an account for forestry. It gets rolled up into water, but I'm able to pull just the forestry piece, and I was able to pull just the forestry expenditures. So again, I'm not sure what type of analysis you want, you know, because now you're talking about if he only spends 90% of his time on the forest, on the harvest, I guess. Oh, Rosalind, are you gone?
Come back, Rosalind.
Well, I'm wondering if it's clear to the other CPA, you know, what
No,
you're,
I'm here.
yeah, I'm sorry. Is it clear to you what's being asked? Because I don't know if you heard when Anna was talking about, well, the forester only spends 90% of his time on the, I guess, the harvest operation.
What does he do with the rest of his time? And
I
where's
mean,
that?
Trees in the city of Bremerton, I imagine he, no, okay, Anna, go ahead.
No, we've been told in public that he doesn't do that. He doesn't do
I think
street
it's
trees or
paperwork.
park trees. He just does the watershed.
Isn't everybody's
Water
job
utility
roughly
lands.
10% administrative overhead? I mean, isn't that a standard kind of HR thing?
If he's in the forestry accounting and that's where he's charged 100%, and you were to no longer have that service, he would go away likely, or they would hire out for the extra part of his position. So
That's why I'm saying, well, okay. That
I
what you're
wonder,
planning to use this information for matters. You know, if you just want the historical numbers, I'll just give you the Finance Plus report. I mean, but if you're talking about discontinuing the logging operation, then
Here, what I was trying to do is to make sure that all of the expenses are included, like the sort of hidden expenses, right? Like it's not on forestry to repair roads, right? That's something Public Works would do, right? It's not on forestry to oversee the contract in its entirety, right? That's something Melinda Monroe would do. I don't know who does permitting and inspection, but I would imagine that is forestry. I don't know if noxious weeds are done by forestry or if it's contracted out. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure these hidden costs were included in a cost benefit profitability. I think
but the
that
thing is when you if you throw some of Melinda's salary in there, that you know she spends 5% of her time on the forestry contracts, you know, so let's charge 5% of her salary in there. Well, if the logging operation goes away, Melinda's not going to get paid 5% less. You know, I mean, I'm just not sure.
okay, Rosalind, you're muted.
No, but they might assign her to other duties somewhere else. And so I think that the component of what she is doing, if I were in your situation, Jenny, I would list everybody out that you think might have an impact, incorporate a component of their salaries that seems relevant. It is a component of it, but then we will have to go through and ascertain which people really count and which ones don't. Like if our intent is to say, wow, if it went away, X would happen, then you're right. We would have to discriminate as to which one would and which one wouldn't, and how much of it, and how, and like, would they be reassigned to do other duties within the organization or something along those lines? We'd have to make a determination probably together based on a conversation.
Is there further discussion on this?
Something's sticking in your craw, Jenny.
No, I just plan to, probably listen to the meeting again, make sure it's clear. And I'll, do my best to provide what you're asking for.
So would it be accurate to say that instead of calling it relevant factors, just have it be expenses? Is there a better title for that?
Just, I think it's, in my mind, it's, let me open it back up. It's expenses that you don't want me to overlook, is what I understood it to be.
Yeah.
Considerations.
Including but not limited to, right?
Well, just relevant factors, because I mean, Jenny is an investigator, so she may uncover hidden leads while she's out there.
That's why I said including but not limited to, right? So, yeah, all this stuff. And if you come across others, let us know.
I'm pretty happy with this, and I think do you think that you can get this much done before our October meeting, Jenny?
I can. I mean, there are a lot of other expenses besides what's written here. I'm going to provide those.
Personally,
Good.
yeah, I would personally be very interested in knowing what they are so that there's
Yeah,
a clear understanding of the things they do. Sorry, did I overstep someone? I didn't mean to.
Did you mean you want to know what they are right now, or did you mean you want to know what they are when I come in October?
Yeah, when you come in October.
Okay.
But I'm going to struggle to make that meeting because I'll be in China.
Oh.
for work, not for vacation.
Yeah. Well, there's equipment rental, equipment repair and maintenance. I think that they're, oh, let me just open. Equipment interfund charges, fuel.
And they all seem like they might be relevant to logging. So
Quite a bit of overtime. I was surprised. Some office and operating supplies. Professional services, external, and it's not big enough to be the for the timber harvest. Other services might be the timber harvest. Equipment interfund. Set that one already. IT interfund. Equipment repair interfund.
Okay.
And those are, you know, some of those things, when it's interfund, those are being allocated, like IT, it's allocated out of the IT department. So if you quit charging the forestry operation, then it increases the amount that gets charged to other departments. And it doesn't necessarily result in a savings to the city.
right.
And that's
Okay. That
kind of where I saw the,
I'm sorry, please go ahead, Jenny.
well, that's just where I saw the value of the project was, you know, if you modify the logging operation, what happens with the expenses? But if you just want to see what they are, and then we go from there, we can do that. We can go step by step. I'll probably need something else to work on then. So you're going to have to talk about that now. Because if you're just going to want basically the profit and loss statement, or statement of revenue and expenditures, then it's not going to take me a month to do that.
Okay. Rosalind, you had, okay. You're all done, Rosalind? Okay. Marwan, did you have anything? Okay. Deborah, do you have anything?
Oh.
Okay. All right, so now at almost 6 o'clock, we have a dilemma that has never occurred at the audit committee before, which is Jenny is saying, fly upon this quiet life, I want work. This will not be enough work for me.
You can send me your questions and suggestions for the report that was the communications report that was supposed to be talked about this evening, but didn't get talked about.
It didn't. Okay.
So if you can do that sooner rather than later, that would be helpful.
Okay. I'm just tossing this over to the committee. Do we want to?
What's next on our work plan?
That's what I was going to say. Do we want to go back and look at the work plan? Because the next was procurement, right? Hang on. Oh, you are. Sorry, I'm talking to my computer, which is so rude. Okay, does everybody have access to their work plan right now? It was sent to us on 23rd July.
I can probably find it.
If not, I'm happy to read off the document. I'm not dialed in with my laptop.
I might be able to screen share, I'm not sure.
Wasn't the other one that we were looking at procurement policies? Or was it non-resident water rates?
Parking,
Well, we're not gonna do parking because they're just starting a new contract, I believe.
Right.
So it would
Plus, I
be,
thought,
let me just see if I can share this.
your findings, which was like, the way I expressed it to council was more or less like, it might be cost effective, but nobody wants to do it.
What's that?
The parking thing. No, but there isn't a department that would be willing to take it on.
Yeah, so
It's the ugly stepchild in every city.
well, it was kind of how Chief Wolf talked about animal control,
Yeah.
how very grateful he was when that was taken over by Kitsap Humane.
Does everyone see the
Yeah.
so you can see the watershed is
Yeah,
here.
Yep.
See that the description and objective is different from what we're talking about tonight on the watershed. Determine
Well-
the impact to net profit if the timber harvesting practice in the city's watershed was discontinued. So anyway, but moving on. We're saying we're not going to look at the parking at this time. So then procurement policies would be next. We can start just gathering information on that. We can do that.
can we go back and look at the description of the watershed forestry profitability review? So the thing I wrote up doesn't do this. It doesn't determine the impact to net profit. Like it doesn't like, here's what net profit we're making. Here's no.
This is what I thought we would be doing. What's on the work plan.
Okay. Well, Deborah, Marwan, Rosalind, what do you think? Is this this seems like a more elegant, all the words I wrote down seem much less elegant than this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to see where they contradict one another. I think this, to my mind, captures what it was we wanted to find out from a report. And I thought that Anna's list of items to consider was just that, a list of things to consider within the report.
No, this is what I've been talking about doing tonight. What's on the work plan here.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I've been hearing is that, no, we just want to see what the historical
Oh, I see. what you're
revenue and
saying.
expenditures are. And it's like, well, that does not get you to this.
Do we
This-
need to do that to get to this, though? Is that like step one?
Well, step one, I already have done, which is
Oh, okay.
just
Okay.
getting the revenue and expenditures out of the accounting system. Then the next step is to make sure that the noxious weeds are accounted for in there and the other items that are on Anna's list. But the work plan requires another analysis. I mean, again, if you
Well,
discontinue the harvest, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the expenses go away.
right.
You still have to maintain a healthy forest. I don't know what that entails.
And maintaining a healthy forest may mean some harvesting, just not the way we've been doing it. I don't know if that's something that an auditor can determine.
Well, and I don't know if they have to do fertilizer or.
No.
No.
And
Yeah,
would
I
be
don't know what the answers are, Do they still have to have security out there? Does that even get charged to the forestry operation? Maybe not. Maybe it just goes straight to water.
I think it does because it's Cami Apfelbeck who always speaks up. Like we wanted to do the Kitsap Lake to Jarstead Park Trail, and she was afraid that doing so would impact security. Deborah, you've been around long enough to remember the photograph of the guy with a rifle and a toddler wandering.
Yep.
Yeah. And breached security might or might not cause the Washington Health Department to require us to filter our water. So I'm pretty sure that's not a forestry.
Well, again, the forestry operation rolls up into the water operation. So ultimately, when you look at the budget and you look at the water division budget, forestry is in that. It's just that I can go into our accounting system and pull reports that have the forestry division extracted from the water division. Anyway, if you want me to do what's on the work plan, I don't need additional work. If you just want the historical expenses.
No, I think we all want you to do what's on the work plan. If I'm wrong, please correct me, other committee members. Okay, so Deborah says aye. Marwan, look, a chance for you to speak. Okay. Okay. Well, good. We're all happy to have provided you with additional work, Jenny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask one little clarifying question. And it's actually the question that I started out with, which is, do you want me looking at if the timber harvesting practice is discontinued, which is what it says in the work plan? Or do you want me to set it up that it could be discontinued 100% or it could be modified, like we reduce the logging operation by 50% or some other number?
They're doing about 25 acres a year within the watershed itself. So I can't imagine that anybody would reduce. I mean, it's either 25 acres or zero.
Okay. All right. So we'll leave it at 0.
Yeah. It's like running out of the house to go to the opera. It takes not much more time than running out of the house to get a quart of milk. You have to go downtown for it. Yes, I believe we have resolved this. Is that correct? Okay. I'm sorry that I didn't get notice of the SAO audit conference until like 4 hours before it began. Jenny, do you want to report on that, or do you want to wait till next month after all the turmoil of tonight?
Well, for one, the entrance conference is not one that typically very many people go to. It's usually just the department heads whose departments are going to be impacted by the audit. So it's not a big deal that you weren't there. They are going to be doing the 2023 audit. And then immediately after that, they'll be doing the 2024 audit, and then we'll be caught up. So anyway, that was the crux of the meeting. And then they just introduced the players, and I don't remember their names. So
okay. Would you mind stopping sharing screen so we can look at each other as we close out this meeting?
If I can. Did it quit? I'm sorry.
Nope.
How do I unshare? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Here we go.
Oh, flippin' heck. Sorry. Okay. All right. I feel that we have really totally discussed 4B general business. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Can we
at
move
last.
on, please?
Let joy reign unconfined. The next audit committee chair report to city council will be September 24th. And I have recently had the opportunity to read the audit committee bylaws and procedures. Do we want to keep this confidential among us until after the October meeting? I think we should.
Oh,
This has been an open and public meeting.
No, I mean the report.
Oh,
so if someone submits a records request, we would need to provide it, but otherwise the bylaws do ask that we keep it quiet until it's a final report. So please don't share it. It is still a draft, and I am still waiting to hear back from the finance director and perhaps one more person in public works. So please respect that.
Yeah. And then we will use trumpets when it's finally public. Exactly. We'll do our little dance of joy. Our next scheduled meeting is October 27th, 2025. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order?
anymore.
You feel that your soul has been completely purified and purged?
Cleansed, totally cleansed, yes.
Okay. Rosalind, I think we will all understand if you are unable to join from
I'll
China.
try. I'll try. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
get some rest.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate
right.
it.
Jenny, thank you so much for putting up with uneducated people like myself. Marwan, you look great, and all of your comments are short and sweet, and I'm really trying to study that whole thing. Okay. I declare this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
You next month.
See you
Yeah.
next month. Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Safe travels.